And when I'm back here, you're just going to have to speak a little bit louder. So, okay, can you, a majority of the time when you have sex with someone, do you love them, or is it more like just the physicality?
It depends. Most of the time I like the person, I like who the person is, and I'm attracted to the person, and we'll hung out a couple times, and I feel some type of bond. It's not, and the physical is a huge part of it too, physically attractive, but it's not the priority for me.
Okay. What's the priority for you?
A priority is their whole, I really, it's what turns me on, and it's what I like in a sex partner. So I have to know the person, they have to be physically attractive, but also like they're just down to earth, not too like materialistic and stuff. That's a huge turn on for me, because I'm a really like simplistic person. And down to earth. So.
Oh, that sounds alright. That's cool. Sounds good. So, what comes first, sex or love, typically?
You mean historically, or like how I've?
I mean historically, and then you could, get interject on your own personal view, or what do you think historically? Historically. I mean.
Well, nowadays, sex comes before love. People have sex before they fall in love, before they even, because some people get married, they're having sex, and they're not in love with the person, and it's like 7 years later, and they decide they don't even like the person. So I think that nowadays, sex comes before love, but I think the way it should be is love then sex. The traditional way is the love and the sex, and that's rare. I think that's rare nowadays.
It definitely is rare. So, how would you let a person know that you love them?
Wow. Well, like I said before, like I've never been in love. Like I've been in strong like with a person, like really strong like, where I feel like it was close to love, but I still wasn't willing, because there was something that the other person was lacking, and I still wasn't able to go like all them extra miles for that person.
Okay. Alright, that's cool. So, I guess, can you tell a time when you remember your first love? Like, whether it was real or fake, like the first time you almost felt like you thought you might have been loved. Can you describe that for me, that intense feeling possibly, or how it went down?
It was amazing. I mean, I met this guy when I was in Colorado. And we hung out a lot, and we started going out and dating. And this was the first guy that I had sex with. There was a guy I lost my virginity to.
Okay.
And we just had a good time all the time. Okay. And the feeling that I had was just, when I was with him, it didn't matter the location, like where we were, like we had a good time. And I felt like what I was lacking, he provided, and vice versa. It was a good contrast, and sex was great. Good sex, and yeah.
If you could describe that in 3 words, how would you just like, if you just say 3 words to describe those feelings, like what would those words be?
Sex, love, and magic.
Sex, love, magic. It was magical.
Yes.
That's good. So, if you could capture that feeling again, would you go for it? Like,
I would go for it again, because it was a good feeling. It was a feeling I hadn't experienced before, and I feel like I don't know what it feels like to be in love, and maybe I've been in love and I didn't realize I was in love, but I feel that was the closest.
Yeah. All right. So what happened? Like, did the love lost, or what about the first time you fell out of love, or like something that how did that go down? What was the situation with that?
Well, the whole situation with that person, I didn't fall out of love. I did what I thought was best for me, and I moved to a different place and sort of broke it off. And because at the time, that's what I wanted to do. That was the most practical thing to do. But I didn't fall out of like with that person. I still liked that person, but we couldn't be physically together anymore because we were in different places. So.
Okay.
But that was that was really emotional.
Yeah.
And really sour. I didn't like that feeling.
Like what would be the 3 words that you would describe for that? I think that's, I think those are like 3 words right there.
Yeah, it was just just sad. It was just sad, and
well, we're gonna try to bring that spark back into your life somehow. So how do you know when you're in strong light? Like, how do you know when you're in strong light? What type of feelings do you have inside you? Like,
when I'm in, like, I really care about a person, and I know that it doesn't become, like I said earlier, it doesn't become like a burden. Or if I see like they called, I get really excited, like, wow, like they called, and I'm more willing to, even if I have like a long day the next day, I'm more willing to just open myself up to that person and just share experiences and share things with them. And I forget the question.
No, that's how do you know when you're in love with someone or you like them a lot? When you care about somebody, you just said you're more open to them. So that's understandable. That's so. Love, obsession, and infatuation. There's a thin line between love and wait, you're bothering me. So have you ever experienced any things of people are being obsessed or infatuated, or have you yourself experienced those sorts of feelings for another person?
I've experienced it before on both sides. One of the guys I dated, we dated, we weren't together. I always told him we're not together because there was just something that just didn't mesh. But he was very, like, upset, I would say, or infatuated, and it was very unattractive to me. And the closer he got, the more I turned away. But in the future, I found myself doing the same thing to a guy I was really attracted to, and I was just infatuated and obsessed with this guy. And like, I don't realize until now that it probably was an obsession, because I really liked this guy. There were qualities in him that it was just what I wanted, like what I wanted to be around, but he didn't have the same feelings. So that's always hard when you feel one way for a person and they're just like, fuck you. So
that is unfortunate. So like, what would you tell to someone that that found themselves feeling they might have feel that obsession or that infatuation? What type of advice would you give to them?
I would tell them, I actually have a friend who's a lot like me in that way. And looking at her, I'm able to give her advice, and I always just tell her, just relax, like, you might like this person, but it's just another human being, and like, you just not to waste your energy on somebody who's not putting in the effort like you are.
That's what I'm talking. Hold on, let me turn this